Well, hello everybody.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Grizzly.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
Our
Hello,
buddy Mike
Thomas,
is
Rebecca.
coming.
Let's see who else we got here. We got a lot of people starting to filter in. Crazy
Yeah.
Witch. Trying to filter Yolanda and everybody. Liana. Welcome everybody to the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. Did you say, wait, you said Rebecca? Hi, Rebecca. I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did. Yep.
Absolutely. So what's going on with everybody
Oh,
tonight?
hi, Debbie. Hey. Debbie from Illinois. And
Lady
hey,
Wolf
hi,
just
Lady
popped
Wolf.
in.
Yeah. Hey.
So what's going on with you lately?
Well, I have a couple things for tonight. Speaking of Debbie, she contacted me with a photo and with a couple of photos. Yeah. And and I showed it to some people and they think that she's got some dogmen on her.
Oh, why does it gotta be Dogman?
I know. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so we'll talk about that a little bit. I think our buddy Mike is supposed to be joining us pretty soon.
Yeah,
but,
Mike ain't feeling too good for her, guys.
Yeah. So so what about what's up with you, Grizzly? Anything?
I don't know. I'm hitting a bunch of wrong buttons on my thing here. Let me see if I can stop. We're just gonna let it roll. I don't know what I did. But we got a bunch of ow and ooh and booing and going. Hello, I don't know what's going on, Crazy Witch. I'm gonna blame it on Crazy Witch. So
Thomas said the dolls are going nuts again. Yep.
I know it, right?
That's what I'm
I
thinking.
have no idea. I hit one thing, it's just like everything's just starting to go. So there we go. It finally timed out. There we go. I know Crazy Witch will take the heat on that one for me. So yeah, so face blue-eyed, red. Face blue, white eyes, ready. Bring on the Dogman. Why does everybody love Dogman?
I don't know. Oof. I think that's describing the emoji. Maybe if she doesn't have I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
Why isn't that coming in?
Yep.
I have cleansed my studio and I have not gotten anything off my dolls. Yes,
that's great.
I did it 3 times, 5 prayers, and a whole bunch of holy water. And then right before my show with FDL, things were starting to get knocked over on my studio desk. My cat balls were going, and then it just stopped during the show. I don't know. But Dogman, I get nervous with Dogman. I get nervous with anything. But Dogman's something else.
Yeah.
So.
Now I want to tell everybody, remind them about, I don't know if I think everybody is probably on Facebook on here, but if not, because I've been promoting it on Facebook, but tomorrow for our show for Open the Door with Barb, with Grizzly and Barb, we have, oh my gosh, Robin. I'm sorry, right out of Robin and Jennifer, and they're both really, talented. As far as, I don't know if they call themselves psychics, but they've both had a lot of encounters, and I know that Robin can just just channel. I don't know if I'm even using the proper terminology, but she can talk to you and figure out what's going on in your situation as far as with cryptids, or if it's paranormal or whatever.
Oh, wow.
And just both really super intuitive ladies. So if anybody out there has any questions on what's going on in their on their property or in their home or whatever, because they can read if it's Bigfoot, Dogman, any kind of cryptids, any kind of elemental spirits, paranormal, aliens. So it's going to be a really interesting, show tomorrow night.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So, Mike Scott had also, he had interviewed our guest from last week, Lynn Gasper. And I'll tell you, like, if you just hearing Lynn, you'd think, what the heck is this? How is this even real? You guys haven't listened to that. You should listen to his interview. Gosh, holding hands with Bigfoot when he was little, and a couple times during his life, touching his hand when he was with a Bigfoot when he was a teenager. It's kind of like, it's unbelievable, except I've heard him be interviewed. I lost my feed. Okay. I heard him be interviewed like a few times, Grizzly, and he never wavers from those details. And so to me, I feel like that's lends, more credence to what he has to say. What do you think from your...
I don't know. So this is where I stand. I mean, we hear stories from people that hunt these things for 30 years, that deal with them, that tells us how bad they are.
Yeah.
Right. And they don't tell us the whole story for whatever reason, what they deal and why they deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we know they get paid for doing what they're doing. And then we hear how warm and fuzzy they are.
Yeah.
And we get these conflicting. Gosh. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So,
I know. I actually had that down because I want to talk about that and see, just kind of pick everybody's brain. Why is it so vastly different? Oh, there he is.
Finally made it.
Hey, Mike. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing fine. I didn't scroll down long enough on my computer to say click on enter studio for some reason.
Yeah, I was getting ready to take you a picture. I was like, I'm telling you, gonna show you ain't in here.
I'm sitting there saying, what's going on here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, since you didn't hear that, how we hear stories about how evil these Bigfoot creatures are and how people go out and hunt them and deter them from people's property, and how bad they are and the reasons why they're bad, and how people deal with the alpha males, and how people are called to go across the country and deal with these creatures. And then we hear on the other hand, like, how warm and fuzzy they are. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Because I was talking about Mike. We interviewed. We were talking about we had interviewed Lynn last week.
Right. And I watched that show.
Okay.
And Lynn just does a wonderful job explaining a lifetime of experiences. And I remember I was the first person a couple of years ago to reach out to him and say, hey, how about coming on this no-name show, Understanding Bigfoot, and sharing your stuff? And he did. And of course, he's been on several since, like somebody else I know, Barb. But but anyway, Lynn gives a whole different perspective of it. Mm-hmm. He says, leave your fears at home. And I'm going to say, and what you touched on that, Grizzly, these guys, they go trouncing through the woods at night, making all kinds of racket, upsetting my experience has been the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, they do more of their roaming around at night than they do during the day. And it just kind of upsets that natural, what they want to do at that time. And I think those people are going to have aggressive encounters. There was a TV show that we used to watch for comic effect, Mountain Monsters. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Love that show.
These guys are exhibit A of what not to do. They're exhibit A of what not to do in those situations. and they wonder why they always had things thrown at them, or they had, the aggressive situations, because of the way they were going after the Sasquatches, and it just never made sense to me. Now, in contrast, these Bigfoot shows on TV, the one that Finding Bigfoot. Remember Finding Bigfoot with Matt Moneymaker, and Cliff, those guys.
Yep.
When they went out at night, they were not aggressive, and if there were Bigfoot in the area, they were not treated aggressively by the Bigfoot. So you just contrast that show with like that Mountain Monster show where they always dealt with aggression, and that kind of gives you a little bit, maybe some of the personality we're dealing with when we're dealing with the Sasquatches. I've been in their vicinity, pretty close vicinity, on multiple occasions, and never had an aggressive situation with them. But I'm not trying to shoot them, or I'm not trying to run them out of somewhere, So who knows?
And it's I wonder if it's like somebody had mentioned back, which I agree. I think it was it Brian that had mentioned that they're just like humans. They have different. I think it was Brian. If they're like us, it would be on an individual basis. Look at the extremes in human behavior, and that's part. I definitely think that. I wonder if it also is maybe like regional, I don't know, if some tend to have more aggression than other areas. I don't know.
That's one thing I would be curious to look at is some stats on that.
Yeah.
To see if that would be a trend.
Yes. Because I know go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say I had a guest on of Understanding Bigfoot probably over a year ago now, and he was a good guest, and he's just, as the crow flies, we live about 50 miles from each other, and he's over in Illinois, I'm in Missouri, and he was sharing his experiences, and most of his experiences were aggressive experiences, but he goes in the woods, guns a-blazing, a different attitude on that. And somebody I remember commented in the YouTube comments of that show says, "Man, I wonder why his are so aggressive all the time and yours aren't." Yeah. And I said, maybe over in Illinois, one of the most heavily taxed states in the Union, maybe they're also taxing the Sasquatches. I don't know.
But that would make that makes everybody angry. It is.
But I really think it's the approach, though, the approach that you're taking when you're entering in an area where they're at, and my friends over at the over in Madison County, where I had the gifting bucket and all that stuff, they were in that same boat when Bigfoot showed up on their property, and they're trying to run a little farm, and Bigfoot shows up on their property and helps himself to some of the produce. And they're like, what do we do? And my advice was, well, if you want to run them out, you might have some problems on your hand. And I asked the question specifically. I said, are they aggressive to you? No. Are they threatening you guys in any way? No. Are they cleaning out your harvest to where you can't function? No. We still have a profitable business, etc. And they're just taking what they need. I said, then work with them. Because if you try to run them out, they can tear your place apart. And some people have had their places torn apart. We've seen evidence of that. What's their approach? And I said, work with them, build a relationship with them. And they have done. Now, they had an interesting thing there, guys, in that little family on their, there's a mom and a dad, and there's 3 kids. The oldest of the 3 kids is probably about 8 foot tall. And there's like an elder Bigfoot that's like a grandpa. He might be,
Oh, wow.
He was the one they had issues with. He was the angry one. And Kyle's mother, Norma Miller, shared with me that she just basically, like any mother would do at their home, she just dressed him down, chewed him out one day. and no, seriously. And
yeah.
They haven't had any more problems out of him. So
I've heard that a few times from a couple of when the ladies go crazy.
Yeah. So
yep.
And I mean, it doesn't matter how big and tough we are, when that mother defending her home starts letting you have it, you just kind of squirm and squeamish, and I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yep. Definitely heard that before.
So
yeah, because I mean, when you look at Lynn,
go back to
just like Lynn and some guys out here, Brian Bland, and then Kevin
Brian
Royce,
Bland,
who's a neighbor of mine. I mean, they are just like, oh, don't even talk about Bigfoot being aggressive, mean, whatever. They're gentle spirits, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you're gonna mess with them, they're gonna mess with you. But other than that, no, they're just. But then then there's others like Old Bear. He has a lot of experience and has had to deal with families having a lot of like trauma, with dealing with them.
Bad trauma.
Yes, bad trauma, right? And so I don't want to minimize that either. You can't, because that who knows how you would even deal with that. Just awful. And then he can help, hopefully can help them out. And then, Val, he gets reports all the time. So anyway, it's just, I'm just curious. It's because, I just wonder if, like I said, I do wonder if it's kind of regional too. Yeah. So
just makes you wonder,
there could be to an extent. I'll share with you, my son and I, our journey through this stuff, and he doesn't really want to have anything to do with them, but we both discovered their existence at the same time. And when he got done playing college baseball, that's all we did, from the time he was a kid, was sports. And I never fooled him with any of this stuff. And I was interested in it, but I didn't fool with it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Dad, now that baseball's over with, he says, we've got to have something we can do together. He says, if I took up hunting, would you hunt with me? Yeah, sure. I hunted when I was a kid, but I neglected doing that with him because we were always playing ball. Mm-hmm. So, and then my next thing was, we got to find some place to hunt. And, I got this big old conservation area north of us there in North Cape County. And let's go up there and look around. So, and it was December 2019 on just a harmless little squirrel hunt that we saw the first set of footprints. And they were, 17 inches long, 8 inches wide, 5 foot strides, left foot, right foot, left foot, right. We saw a nice progression. And that's when we thought, hey, they are here. They're up here. I didn't think they would be up there. I knew they were up in your neck of the woods, Barb, but I wasn't quite sure. I figured they were over in the Missouri Ozarks, but I didn't think they were there.
Yeah.
But yes, they were. And a lot of them, as I found out since then. But so he continued to hunt, and some days he would hunt by himself, and some days, actually, when I discovered their existence, I lost my desire to hunt with him. And I'll go up there with you, but you go hunt over there, and I'm going to go over here and look for signs.
Yeah.
but the but he would be in an area, and he would hear a whoop or a tree break or a tree knock within a hearing vicinity of him, and he's like, "Oh, there's a Bigfoot over there. I'm out of here." And he get up and he leave. And he told me what he said, "I can't focus on hunting," because I said, "Well, they're not aggressive to you. They haven't been aggressive to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just stay there and hunt." I just can't do it. So then occasionally he would ask me, "Would you go out and hunt with me?" Because I want to really, and I know that, he felt safe with me there because he knew I was buddies with him, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. But one particular morning, he said, "Hey, I'm going to a new spot up there. I think it's going to be a good spot for deer." I said, "Well, why don't you come over?" I said, "Pick me up. I'll go up with you." We lived at that time about a mile apart. He lives down in Florida now. And he said, "Well, you don't have to come with me." I said, "No, so I'll come up with you." But anyway, he didn't pick me up. But he's calling me at 5:45 in the morning.
Oh, jeez.
He's scared to death.
Aww.
He got run out of that area by one, maybe two Bigfoots. They got a bluff charge. Before the sun came up, tree breaks, growls, grunts. They said, "You're not hunting here." and they let him know in uncertain terms he wasn't hunting there. Now, he could have fired some rounds off with his rifle if he wanted to, but I told him, "Don't do that." I said, "Your last resort is to shoot at one of them."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I said, because if they don't want you in an area, they will let you leave, and they'll make it clear they want you to leave. Just leave.
Mm-hmm.
So, he actually listened to me, and he just left. And once he got out into the field from the tree line, they quit pursuing him. Mm-hmm. So he had that one aggressive experience. Without him, really, he just went the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
But that shook him up. That pretty well traumatized him.
Of course.
And he's thinking about that. But we, he calls me at 5:45 in the morning. He's like, "What are we gonna do?" And I said, "Well, I said, why don't you come get me? We'll go get some breakfast somewhere. We'll go back up there and take a look around and see what's going on." And it appeared to me that basically he went to hunt deer in a spot where they were already hunting deer.
Mm.
And they said, "Get out of here."
Yeah.
In their own way. But and he didn't know that. And he was going in at dark. He was going in the woods at dark. So he couldn't see, some of the arch tree signs and over game trails and stuff like that we could see during the daylight. And so I said, just chalk it up as a lesson learned. But those are but some people, they'll have aggressive encounters if you go unwanted into their territory in a situation like that, or you react to them aggressively, as opposed to, "Hey, let's work this thing out."
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, said he interrupted that one eating, remember? And he was going to shoot one, and he had it dead right in a scope, and he dropped the safety on it. And he said no, and he screamed no, and it stopped. And he wasn't going to hesitate to pull the trigger, but it stopped because it bluffed him. It charged him.
Yeah.
But he interrupted while it was eating a deer, and he was on his four-wheeler with his high beams, and it made it mad because it blinded.
Well, he's trying to eat, and he gets blinded, and
But he turned the four-wheeler off and turned the headlights off, and I guess that diffused the situation after he did what he did with his rifle. But so
yeah, Lady Wolf. Yeah, go ahead. You want to
go ahead, Barb?
Grizzly, Mike, and Barb, can you please explain again why 90% of pictures are blurred or just dark spots in the trees?
I could explain the dark spots in the trees because they blend in and camouflage so well with the forest. The one I saw at about 75 yards looked like the tree until we moved.
Yep.
To me, they are the woods when they're in the woods, and they're part of the woods. The blur, I agree along the lines of what Lynn said, that their hair is translucent, and they can twist, and, depending on the angles, they can turn and be in the sunlight and stuff like that. They can create that. But I've also seen some fairly clear pictures as well, and to where people have actually got them. They're not, that might be 10%, is what Lady Wolf said. But in Missouri, in the Ozarks, one of the nicknames is the Blue Man of the Ozarks, because that translucency at sundown would create a blue hue and make it look bluish. And as they start calling him the Blue Man of the Ozarks, because that's when most of the sightings were, when he looked like he was blue. So.
Yeah. And I think that's like with here, I don't know if they would refer to, I thought maybe when I saw one that it was, what they'd say green man, because so many of mine are green.
Yeah.
And then, but that's, Kevin had told me, a neighbor of mine that has encounters with them, he said, well, yeah, that's like you said, it's reflecting off of just reflecting off of their surroundings, and it's Are you okay, Grizzly?
Yeah, I'm just knocking everything over my studio. Okay. That's all right. I'm trying to grab something where you're all talking.
Yeah, that's okay. They, and then also, so Brian Barber saying they don't stand still and pose for a picture. Yeah, the hair may be like polar bears, unless they have to be sitting still, which is why you find them in pictures later. Yeah. And I think that's when you get your more, the ones that are more that are clearer, right? They move so fast that there's no way that you could get it, a clear picture.
One evening, probably when I saw my first one, I didn't even know I was seeing it. He moved that fast. It was like a shadow. It was like a blur. He went from one, and it was about dusk when I saw him. He went from one tree to the next, and just like so quick. And it's like the only reason I really knew that it was a Bigfoot was he was throwing hickory nuts at me, and I knew that no other body out in the forest except for a human could do that. There was not a human up on that ridge. So, but when I actually saw and got the visual, it was like a blur. It just a shadow. They're so so fast. They're so quick. They blend in so well to the forest, and it's they could be, as you know, Barb, from a lot of your pictures. That when you take them, you don't know they're there. And then when you look at them, you kind of make out a face here and there, and that's that dark shadow in the woods. But and a lot of those are seen after the fact. They aren't seen.
Yep. Yes, exactly. Because I've said that before, how many pictures that I have that I think that there's nothing, that I think there's nothing there. And then, actually, there's more that there isn't anything there. I just take it because, what are you showing us, Grizzly?
I'm trying to, but with my virtual background. So I actually spoke to a photographer. And I asked him a question, and he was like, "You talking about Bigfoot, aren't you?" And I was like, he's like, "So here's the deal." He was like, "Unless you are a professional photographer and you know how to take pictures of moving objects, you're not going to take a good picture." He says that we know that evidently that they can interfere with the electronics somehow, which that's a known phenomenon that we think. When I was like, yes, that's possible. That's feasible. he was like, but with everybody's cameras, and I'll pull one of the ones I use, Benny's. Okay. I have mine set on auto, right? So I don't have to adjust the aperture or anything like that. Automatically focuses the shutter speed and everything else, and all the mechanics in there.
Mm-hmm.
So if I go to take a picture, right, I don't have to do anything besides point it and shoot it. Now, if that moving object, if I don't have my camera set at the right settings, guess what? It's not going to take a clear focus or a clear image.
Right. Exactly.
That's why on the old cell phones, it would have you hit a button, it would go click, 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 and it'll be like fast motion. Remember, like if somebody's throwing a baseball, you can get all the movement of the person pitching that ball or swinging that bat.
Right. Oh,
so
yeah.
People out in the field with these cell phones and these cameras are not going to get a clear picture unless, like Mike says, it's standing completely still, and you're taking a photograph of a still image, because that has time for that camera to do all the mechanical adjustments itself manually, right? Automatically, I should say, why it's doing that. That's why it's zooming in and out, and it's doing all and it's calculating everything. So that's why we're now add all that in with that object or that animal or human or whatever that creature is moving on top of it. So that's another factor with it manipulating the electronics. So that's what I was told. If that helps.
That makes sense. And they're so especially the dark ones blend in, like the black ones. Oh my gosh.
So like Lady Wolf. So rabbit shutter is better, makes sense. Yes. So that's what I said on other shows earlier this year. A lot of people are going back to the older cameras. So the book that I had, it's called Unlikely Encounters, and it's by Kimberly Cotter, Cotter. And her girlfriend, it was funny. They were at a hotel out in the woods, and I don't know if it's listed in the beginning of the book, but it was a hotel out in the woods. And anyways, they went to go hiking, and the guy was like, "Hey, before you go out there, it's bear season. Just beware. Do not run if you see bears." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So they go out and they're hiking, and about 45 minutes later, she was like, "Hey, stop!" And her girlfriend was like, "What?" She's like, "Bears." What does her girlfriend do? Turn around and hauls butt. And she reaches in her purse, pulls out a camera, and takes a picture, and puts it in her purse, and turns around and walks off, because she was on like a small ridge.
Okay.
Well, she gets home a week later, gets her film developed.
Oh, geez.
And she starts whipping and flipping out. Calls her girlfriend. Her girlfriend thinks she's having a heart attack. So, and she's got the picture on her cover, and it's a really good picture. Now it's through the trees. It's not bears.
Oh.
It's Sasquatches.
Whoa.
And a couple of them's got babies, holding babies.
Whoa.
And she's using the old 110 film. Remember those 110 cameras? The point and sheets that we used to use as kids?
Yeah.
She recommends, she thought they were bears when she looked at them. So she wanted a picture of the bears.
Wow.
So, so that's why I'm saying a lot of people are going to antique stores and buying these old cameras and buying these old 35 millimeter cameras now and using them because they're getting better results than what they're buying in these digital cameras that, like my other Canon camera, I think the body alone is like $5,500.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, man. It takes phenomenal pictures.
Yeah.
Now, I can take, if I have it on the right shutter speed, I can take a car doing 75 miles an hour and it looks great. But I got to have it on the right settings and everything else and all that other stuff. And man, you got to learn how to do all that. And you got to learn about the shading and the sunlight. And it's a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
So hopefully that helps. So.
Yeah. And where did we, I saw somewhere that things that Bigfoot like to use, and one of the things are like like natural things like sun glare. They love to, get a person into a situation where you're in the glare of the sun and like, trying to see them. And that's one of the things that I thought, because that has happened to me so many times, is I'm like, I can see something back in like a dark spot, and I'm trying to focus or trying to, get a picture, or even with my eyes trying to look, and it's that glare of the sun. It's just really just messes with.
I see on iPhones, I see 1, 2, 3, slow-mo, cinematic, video, photo. I don't see the fast mode like it used to.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't know.
I see portrait. I see pano. I got the 14 Pro Max, unless I'm missing a setting. But the old cell phones used to use the rapid frames.
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
But I mean, there are a lot of factors in taking a photograph. And the old saying I used to say last year to people on a lot of the shows: go to the woods and try to take a picture of a running bunny or a squirrel in a tree, and good luck, right? So, and that's not trying to make fun of anybody. I'm just saying it's hard to do. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you put me in front of a Bigfoot or a Dogman, I'm going to probably crap myself. And that's the worst thing. Last thing I'm going to worry about is taking a photograph. Because that's where everybody, how can you get a photograph?
Yeah.
What do you mean? That's the last thing I'm worried about.
Yeah.
But so I don't know.
That's the other thing, is that most people.
That's most people.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's actually
no picture. You didn't take a picture.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, because how many people have we talked to that have amazing encounters, and then but wait, I didn't even think to take my phone out, or I was too scared to, or I didn't have my phone with me, or or a camera or whatever. I just I feel like that's very. Very common.
Your average person is going to be so shocked that they're actually seeing it, and especially the first time, and they're like, "Whoa!" And the last thing you're thinking of at that time is, "Oh, I got to get a good clear picture," because usually, like Chris says, you're going to be terrified, you're going to be nervous, you're going to be looking for a quick exit. How do I get out of this situation without getting hurt? And the average person's thinking that. And even somebody, even us, and myself, and I'm sure the same probably with you, Barb, they're all around you. But if that one big one just stepped out and and stood you off at 10 feet, faced, that's really going to be a nerve-wracking situation, even though
absolutely.
It probably shouldn't be.
Yeah. No, I mean, but it's still, because I still haven't seen one in that type of a setting,
Right.
I like Brian Barber said, they sit so still. I take pictures where I feel like I'm being watched. Yeah. And that's exactly what I do. And later, going through and examining them, I find them, even though, and they're very close. And that's happened to me. I got a video recently, and I want to see how I can get that, how I can play that on here, because I have it on YouTube, but that I, was looking at something in far, I think you guys saw it, right? The one with the side profile of.
Well, I'll just share your screen.
Okay, let me see. I have to figure out where. All right, you guys just talk, and I'll see if I can figure it out.
But no, and it is. I mean, it's hard because I actually years ago thought about taking photography classes because I bought books on it, and man, the way they talk about shutter speeds and frames per second and all this other stuff, I was like, oh, good God. It was like, what's that math? The hard math. What's it called, Mike?
Common Core.
Whatever it was called.
Oh, yeah, Common Core, yeah.
You're thinking calculus, physics.
Yeah, calculus.
Like
yeah. It was like, whoa. I mean, like, come on.
I was trying to be funny.
It was worse than algebra.
Core.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I remember Yolanda about the fairy. Yeah, I know it.
Hey, there's
So,
our good friend Becky Pepper in the comments. She's
Oh, hey, Becky.
She says calculus.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, she knows. All right, let's see.
I better behave now.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can.
I still say common core, Becky, but you say calculus.
Yeah. All right. So here, guys, I'm going to try to see if I can do this. All right. Is that? Can you guys see that or no? I hope
it's small. I mean, it's not blown up right now. To me, it's small. Now somebody might be able to blow it up. But,
all right, wait. Did that make it bigger?
Yeah, that made it bigger.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, and then right in here is where you want to look.
I see
now, do you guys see what looks like?
Looks like a bear.
Like a side profile though of like almost like a gray face. I mean, it's hard to.
It's still small. I mean, I'm not gonna say it looks like a bear.
Right.
It's definitely something.
And
there.
I was looking. I was actually looking at. Okay. So when the face turns, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that.
If that's a face, that's a big head.
Yes.
Well, they would have a big head, Grizzly. So.
Mm-hmm. And see now, it's like I said. So now it's gonna play again. So I was looking at, there was like, I'll just use my there's something up and back in here and there. I was looking that I felt like it kept like popping up and peeking at me.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Not even seeing the big thing, which I didn't notice until after, like I said, I think there's actually.
You probably had your eyes and a smaller one, more curious, popping in and out, and he was sitting there the whole time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then I'll just let it play again, because when I point at it with my glasses, he totally turns and you can see his face. So looking in that area, come on, go ahead.
Well, I can see the movement, but it's just too small to really make anything out on my computer.
Barb. So
that goes back to what I said earlier. They are the woods. You video this not looking for him, looking for the other one.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yep. And then there was, oh wait, is that better or no? Is that you?
Yeah, that's
okay. Yeah, anyway, so the gray face is right here, and like I said, with some I was able to get some still shots of it, but then what's funny is that there's also and it's very brief over in, oh gosh, it's hard to see too. So over like in this area, there's something sitting there behind all of this going on, and I don't know, and I'd have to anyway. I don't want to if you guys go to YouTube. If you go to YouTube and go to my channel, and then you'll see, because you can literally see it's like its mouth opening up and closing.
Oh wow!
And so but you have to look for a while. Yeah. So anyway, that one was probably within 10 feet of me, 8 to 10 feet of me, and it's big and it's brown and I can see, like I said, I can part of it I can see up to from here, like as if it's like this, and then another thing it's like this, and I can see its mouth like
oh wow! They wouldn't know, was that a phone camera?
That was, I have an iPhone. I think it's a 14. I'm not sure. What is that, the newest one?
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, and it's
so how far did you how far did you say he was away?
Oh, you mean the big one? I mean the
one you didn't know was there. Yeah,
probably max 10 feet maximum.
Oh wow, that's close.
5 to 10 feet.
10 feet. 10 feet.
Yes,
he was 10 feet from you, and you did not notice him there.
No.
In your video, trying to catch another one in the video, And that
Right.
and that big old hunk was there all the time.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Sitting there like going like,
yeah.
you know.
And that just I mean 10 feet, yeah, it's 3 yards.
Yes. And I mean, yeah. And I was like, when I saw it, but it's definitely it blows your mind. But he's perfectly camouflaged. And because the sun was kind of shining in to that area. So, and I think that was like more of a light brown. So where he was sitting, there's some dead leaves and there's some, that brush in there, perfectly camouflaged.
And if he stood up, he probably he was probably 10 foot tall.
Yeah. Talking about
he could have stood up and fallen at your feet.
Yes. Yeah. He probably could have reached, like, if he just kind of laid out and reached. Yeah. But yeah.
Grizzly says that's a little too close for comfort.
And I'm trying to figure out how to get this on, because I remember I was telling you guys that the road away from that, like from my house into the main road, and I'm calling it now, I'm going to say like Bigfoot Row. I took my son-in-law and we went and I made a video, but I cannot, but the video's long, so I can't figure out how to share it, and I can't figure out how to get it on YouTube. I've such technological issues. Yeah. But anyway, but that's because that will just goes to show, like, it's crazy. They're just going crazy, like building. And I think that right now, and I know somebody else had, I think said this in the comments. I think right now that they're kind of in their, the mode of like building blinds and maybe, shelter for the winter, ones that are going to be staying in the area. That's and I really think a lot of blinds, like along roads, or along paths where they can just sit in there and watch people. Because one thing that and I will get that video eventually. I'll figure it out. But I think is the coolest thing is every time we would walk up to either a blind or it was all like a bunch of like sticks. It looked just like like a beaver dam, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they
look,
but just as like against a tree, and there were I think about 3 or 4 of them. Every time we would get close, there would be this amazing smell, like honeysuckle. And like lilacs aren't even in season, but I think honeysuckle just like so strong, and there's nothing around that would be, and I didn't smell it the whole time. My son-in-law was like, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't smell, because his allergies were bothering him. And he said he couldn't smell anything, but I just kept getting this strong. And, we've heard that, right? And
well,
like, wow.
A lot of times you associate with bad odor, which they can let that off.
Yes.
But maybe they can let off a good fragrance as well. I mean,
that's,
that's another piece to the puzzle there.
It is because what, could it be some kind of plant that I wasn't aware, we stood there for a while. We were trying to figure out, we couldn't see anything. I would love to identify what the plant was if it is, because it smelled so good. And I think, like I said, it was like honeysuckle, but that fresh honeysuckle, like if you like kind of like smash it. And so I don't know, can't say for sure, but I thought that was pretty interesting. But Mike, you had sent us a really cool picture, and I want you to tell us about what happened. What was the deal with that?
Okay. Do you have the picture that you can? Are you able to put that up?
If I can do that. Oops.
There was an outing.
Shoot.
Last weekend. There was an outing last weekend over at my friend Bill Rummage's place, and Bill and Debbie Rummage were guests in one of my earlier shows in Understanding Bigfoot. Taunted and Greeted in Southeast Missouri. Excellent story Bill has, but he's over about 50, 60 miles from me as the crow flies, over on the eastern edge of the Mark Twain National Forest, and he has Sasquatch on a semi-regular basis come through his property. And a lot of times he'll have people out and we'll do the things that we do to try to attract them in and have interactions with them. He and I back in December saw the eye shine of a mother and 2 kids, Sasquatch, just about 30 yards from us. But anyway, I couldn't make it this past weekend. We got a lot going on in my household, including a new grandbaby and figuring out how many times we go to Florida before school starts. But I didn't make it out there, but my friend Luke was there. Now, Luke is a skeptic. Luke thinks that we're all hoaxers, or at least he thought that. I went, and he would always try to contradict and say, well, it could have been hoaxed this way, it could have been hoaxed that way. And then he gradually started figuring out that we really don't hoax things.
Yeah.
And so Luke got the idea, because he knows about my gifting bucket, and Bill has done some gifting at his place. So he got the idea, I'm going to once and for all do some gifting where I know it's not raccoons, or I know it's not this. So he gets on top of, Bill's got a shed there, and he gets on top of the shed, which is probably, the roof of that shed is probably about at the 8-foot mark. And he gets up there and he puts a chicken. He goes to the grocery store and buys one of those rotisserie chickens.
Oh, wow.
and he puts the chicken on a plate, and then he takes one of those milk crates and turns it upside down and places that over the chicken.
Okay.
Gets some motorcycle straps and straps that milk crate down. There you see a picture of it.
Gosh.
And then he places a log, a big old log on top of the crate, and another one to the side. He's got this set up to where there's no way that the coons are going to be able to move that log and move that crate to get to that chicken.
Right.
And he said the next morning, the log was taken off the top of the crate and set on another part of the roof of the shed. The crate was lifted. The motorcycle straps were on the ground. The crate was also set on another side of the shed and on the roof of the shed, and the chicken was completely gone.
Wow.
No bones, no scraps, nothing. The whole chicken was completely gone. And it's been real dry in our part of Missouri, so there's probably no way they could have got footprints because it hadn't rained forever. But
wow.
But that's what Luke. So when he shared that with me the other day, I started playing devil's advocate. Are you sure you didn't have a hoaxer come and do that?
Yeah.
But there's no hoaxer there. And that, to him, that kind of narrowed down to really one person, if you call them a person.
Yeah.
One thing, whatever you want. It could have come in and got that, could have done those things and got that chicken off there and taken it with him. And there you go.
Can I offer you a suggestion?
Yeah.
Next time, put flour on the ground.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah. That's a good suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd almost have to put it all around the shed, because I could see them going, oh, look at there's flour. And I'm going to just climb up, the other side.
Well, that'd be a lot of flour. But
yeah.
You don't have to put too much down. Just sprinkle some
just
of it.
Just enough to where.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Stingray said, "Oh, that was him. He stole that chicken, and it was good." That does sound good, Stingray. But like, a human is not going to be a human, right? Why would you go and like?
Well, there were probably 3 or 4 guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the YouTube channel Sasquatch Theory, but very popular. Miguel was there. Miguel was there that night from Sasquatch Theory. And so none of those guys are going to hoax that were there.
No.
None of them are going to, we're going to play a trick on Luke and we're going to do this. None of those guys are going to do that.
Right.
Because they're too serious about this. Mm-hmm. So I wish I could have been there. I was invited. I just too many things going on, and that was just this past weekend, and I just couldn't get away.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But that's interesting
incredible.
In that, you know, that eliminates all the other possibilities out there. Well, maybe a deer reached its neck up and grabbed it, or maybe the coons got it, or, you know, so.
Yeah, Brian said they may just dust the flower away. That's true too.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
But
they,
I mean, it'd be kind of interesting to see. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. How much do they want that chicken, you know, to take take a chance?
Well, you know, and if he's 8-10 foot tall, going up there and just, you know, moving a couple items like that, it's not very hard to get that chicken for him. You know, I would have needed to get a ladder out, you know, and climb up the ladder. Probably would have fallen off the ladder.
Yep.
In the dark. So
yeah. Now, Brian said that he had, he said, I tried taking the leaves away from the tree where he put the peanut butter, and something threw the leaves back down and the peanut butter was gone. Yeah. So they really do try to.
They can figure you out.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Yeah.
And they can say, you know, and this is why I do this for myself. I don't invest in a whole lot. I also heard there's another one there who's been doing some recordings and got a real nice recorder, and he'll go take that recorder out in the woods where they'll come up and set it up in a tree. And apparently he lost his recorder over the weekend. And I don't know how many hours of audio recordings on there that he was just getting time to start putting some things together and stuff like that.
Oh no.
But, yeah. You get a watcher, watches him, says, okay, I just saw him put that up there. I wonder what that is.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
right. Yeah.
You know, those things happen. You know, people say, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I'm in it for me.
Yes. Yeah. Same thing. You know, somebody, and also, I saw that somebody had, you know, DNA done with some things that they had found. And guess how much it cost them to have the DNA? Because they were testing hair, and it was either blood or saliva.
I'm going to say 3,000-4,000.
Well, 1,400.
1,400.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Now, because it was like 700, or like 900 for maybe the blood, you know, and then the rest was for the hair.
And then they'll come back and say inconclusive, contaminated,
right,
unknown primate.
Yeah.
Now Grizzly has that kind of money to throw around, but
I'm
$1 away from welfare. What are you talking about?
But when people say that, you know, it's true. It's like, that's great, but what do you do then? You know, unless you have somebody that you can submit it to, it's gonna take care of that. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna fork that money out and take that. I mean, right.
You know,
but there are some powder I want to recommend you all that I use. We used to use on the police department, and it's anti-theft powder.
Okay,
and it's invisible. And you have to use.
Oh, that's cool.
One of these lights, UV lights, to see it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we had a guy after I got out of law enforcement, and I knew he was getting into one of my bags, one of my leather satchels.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "You son of a gun!" I was like, "Okay." And I told my regional manager, and he was like, "What proof do you have?" I'm like, "I know he's doing it. I don't need proof. I'm telling you." He's like, "Give me proof." I'm like, "All right, you MFer. I'll get you proof. We got a big meeting coming up in 3 days." I said, "All right, I'll get you proof." I dusted my whole bag on the outside and all my contents inside, laid it with powder. You can't even tell.
Wow.
So he goes up, we're in this meeting, and I brought my flashlight, and I'm talking, hold up, ladies and gentlemen.
That's great.
I'm talking a flashlight, UV flashlight, you know. And I was like, "Hey, Roger, you want to see something?" I said, "Watch this." Kapow! Half his body turned purple, and his arms and fingers were purple. And I said, "There's your proof, sir." He's like, "What's that?" I said, "My thief." And Mike's face turned red. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Remember you in my bag? I got you right in front of 13 people in corporate." Yeah.
That's great.
Then I got in trouble for using my powder.
Of course.
Yes.
That's how that is, right? Like,
he wanted proof. I got him proof, damn it. Now I could have used my little micro cameras and got them on film, but I thought the powder would be awesome to show everybody, embarrass them. But yeah, but the powder is also good too.
Brian does have a good point. He said, "I worry about trying something that Squatch find and then no longer trust you, so they'll just quit altogether." And that's definitely something that I thought. I don't want to tick them off, and I don't want to, and I don't want them to not trust me. Because
but the flower that wouldn't put two and two together.
Yeah. Well, I don't.
I mean, you're not gonna go out there and put like 20 pounds of flour down there, ladies and gentlemen. You're just gonna like put a little down there, so you can be like, ooh.
Well, I'm not going to underestimate what they won't put two and two together.
Yeah.
On. But
I would try.
I will say this, and that was all at Bill Rummage's place, and he kind of hosted the weekend a little bit. And Bill and I have camped several times at his place in a way, in other areas, and have had some real neat interactions. But we, after a few campouts, we'd get to the campsite, we'd set up the spotlights around the perimeter of the tent, we'd set up the game cams around the perimeter of the tent, and anything that we would hear would be several, 100 yards or more away, and never anything. And he asked one night, he says, "What do we got to do to get closer to these things?" And I just offered the suggestion. I said, "We're going to have to eliminate all this stuff." Because I'd been watching some other people and starting to get on these Facebook pages and with some of these people that were having the up close interactions, that a lot of them were, no trail cams, no night vision, no spotlights, just eliminate all that stuff, nothing artificial, you and them. And when we did that, then they started coming into the campsite at night and saying hello. And we had some real neat interactions. They'd wait till we get inside the tent, but here they come. And then you have to make a decision, Chris. You have to make a decision then. Okay, he is right outside the tent. I can't really see him. I know he's there. I can kind of see the big blob silhouette or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's what Lynn say? He's just saying hello, right?
Yeah.
Lynn told us that's just a greeting. And I'm on the other end, and I'm thinking, I need to talk back to him. I need to, but you're just that those nerves. But what if he takes it the wrong way?
Yeah.
I don't want him to take it the wrong way.
Right.
And then as you're building up nerve, he walks away. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to. Go.
But we didn't get to that point until we ditched all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I do want to play some crazy audio that this guy had sent me, and he wants it to be completely.
Well, before you play that,
yeah.
Brian Barber says, "I think thermal is the way to go because there's no light."
Yeah,
Brian is correct. Thermal, and you see them a lot on thermal imaging, but that's like the DNA. A good thermal setup is going to cost you $3,000-4,000.
Yeah,
right.
And so
with the ability to record,
yeah,
definitely. So this guy got this audio in Oregon. It was in 2020, and he got it just south of Mount St. Helens, because we were chatting, and I told him that I heard some crazy audio when I was camping in Gifford Pinchot National Forest, that's just like northwest of Mount St. Helens. So this is just a little bit south. So yeah, so I'm going to play.
Oh, hell no. You had it right the first time.
Ugh.
That sounds like a herd of them.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Okay. Northeast. Oh, anyway. Whoops.
That sounds like a bunch of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that goes on for.
When you get them going, you hear them from all different directions, and they'll almost like they're having a contest. Who can yell the loudest? Who can scream the highest pitch? And I really think the high pitched screams are females, although I can't prove that. But you can get them just letting them have it, and very similar to what I shared last week when I had my dad out up there in St. Charles. Very similar to what we heard for about 5 minutes up there. A couple of people have asked some questions. I think Lady Wolf wants to know about up close and personal. I have not seen one up close and personal. They've always been the couple times. The shadow thing doesn't count. Barb sees them after the fact up close and personal.
Yes. Yeah. Never saw up close and personal.
But some of the people are commenting in the comments that they have had that. I know my sister, I don't know if she's still on Becky Pepper. Yes. She's seen one up close and personal.
Sure has, yeah.
But and then so
yeah.
Anyway, great stuff in that audio. That's
Brian, if you friend me on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I'll see if I can send it to you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because the way that he sent it to me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to share it though. That's the whole thing. But yeah, it was,
you can friend her anyway, Brian.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and then I can. Sure, absolutely. Yeah.
If you friend me, maybe I'll send it.
Maybe. No, but I'm thinking, because that's if I can.
Send it, after what Brian said about the three of us in a comment just a minute ago, he can friend all three of us.
What did he say?
He just says it's a great show. He said.
Oh well, yeah. No, thank you.
And Grizzly gets great guests. So
wait, and wait, Grizzly, you have some awesome Barb abs. What does that mean? What? I know I don't have good abs. No, Joe's just joking.
I must have missed that one.
Where's that at?
He says, "I love this podcast, Grizzly. You have some awesome shows, and Barb abs.
I think
and Mike are so
Barb
down."
And.
Okay, yeah.
Barb
I'm just joking.
Barb abs.
But yeah, you can. Haley, you can come in.
Haley? No, that's a lot. Yeah, I mean, that had to be more than 7 or 8.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, because I know I've tried to explain it to both you guys and to you, Mike, and it like when I heard that, it was kind of like my, you get that chill, like my blood ran cold, because that is what I heard. And it's so bizarre how human it sounds, but it's not human, because humans they can't carry on like that.
Yeah.
And it's just, wow. It's just so, yeah.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen.
How are we going to follow that?
I know.
Yeah, so Mike, you're gonna be on the show next week from Florida.
I will be
Yay.
heading out here. We'll start our journey sometime tomorrow, I think, and I'll be visiting son, daughter-in-law, and grandbaby, and then we'll spend some time over at the beach. And I will be recording from Ormond Beach, Florida, on next Wednesday night. So
That'd be nice.
But I can't have a beach background because it's sea turtle season, and we can't have those lights on out there and stuff like that. So
yeah, right. They want to know, is it okay if I play that again?
Yeah.
Just put the other end next to your microphone.
Yeah.
You had it perfect the first time.
Okay. And it's for the whole thing's 4 minutes. You want me to play the whole thing?
Matter to me.
And it is it's in Oregon. Somebody asked that. It's in Oregon, and it was just south of Mount St. Helens in Oregon. So okay. Oops.
Right there. That's wild.
Yeah, and so there were some questions. He said this guy said that they would he no longer lives at that area. He's still in Oregon.
I wouldn't either.
Well, he's like bummed because he said unfortunately we did have to move. They were renting in that area. He told me, which we can talk about this next week. He told me a lot about the little people, the little mini looking Sasquatch that were like maximum 3 feet tall, like 2 to 3 feet tall, and they were everywhere. He said so. That's but
what did I tell you? There we go again.
Yep. And wait, somebody had asked a question. Let's see. Yeah. So he said that they would do this a lot, not every night, but a lot. And then, and this would go on and on. But he said where they were sitting, because I think he had to kind of like go into the woods to hear this. And where they were sitting, he said he could hear them getting closer. And then like toward the end, he's like, oh, we're out of here. No, I'm not staying for this, because he thought that they were coming closer. So yeah, so that's that's wild. Debbie said, yes, Debbie, the Bigfoot are respectful of things. So far, I just feel like I had that one time where that baby, they put the baby up in the trough, potentially. I don't know what else it could have been, up on my deck, and the deck is 8 feet high, so they must have stuck it up in there. They didn't walk up on it.
Yeah, that's wild.
But other than that, they don't mess with anything. So yeah, that right. Whew. Crazy, yeah. So you can see why when I heard it that night, I was like in my tent, like trying not to breathe. Don't breathe. Just don't call any attention. I was so terrified because it sounded exactly like that. So scary. But
it's a beautiful sound out there. When you get them all going like that, it's just like, cool. So.
But yeah, so anyway, guys, glad you. My Facebook is Barb Horn Hartman, and if you want to join my Facebook page, my Bigfoot page, which I post all of my stuff on there. It's No Drama Bigfoot and Cryptids. So sometimes I can get stuff on there easier than I can get it on here, unfortunately, or on YouTube. I don't know, but so anyway.
All right, well, Mike, hope you get feeling better, and hope you have a good, safe trip. So
yeah, Mike, looking forward to seeing more pictures of that cute grandson.
Yeah,
beauty.
Hopefully. So,
you gonna go down there and look for skunk ape while you're down there, or are you just
probably not this time? Chris and those guys are probably about 3 hours driving distance from where I'm at. So it's and we're family and stuff like that. They let me do that enough here. I don't think I can infringe on them. But I'd love to once, Chris.
All right. Well,
I don't have any swamp boots though. I'd have to go out and find some swamp boots to fit my size 15s. I don't have any swamp boots.
Oh wow, Mike is a Bigfoot, an actual Bigfoot.
Well, that's what I said with those first set of tracks when they swallowed my foot up like it was nothing. I thought, my goodness.
Yeah. Whoa! Wow.
So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we'll catch you all next week. Mike, be safe. Hope you get feeling better.
Wait, don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, everybody. Yeah. It's 5:30 Eastern. So yeah, or listen to the replay. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it sure will. All right, everybody, take care.
Night, everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.